Definitely not good news. Not what you wanted to hear. Malik Nabers, potentially, this is not a lock of any kind, any concrete information, but coming from his own mouth, reportedly could explore toe surgery down the line, maybe in the offseason. He's certainly not going to sit out. Nabers is fully practicing right now. And that's good news because they're not easing him in. Remember what I said to you a couple months ago? Or about a month ago, I said we'll have time to react in leagues where we haven't already taken him. Walking into August 1, we'll know whether we should be going down this road or not. And we'd find out whether they scaled him back walking into August. Now, the fact that they're not scaling him back, he's fully practicing, makes me think that this thing is probably trending more in the direction of if his ADP drops a little bit because of this news, which I might want to remind you isn't really floating around everywhere. The major headlines everybody's reading is Malik Nabers is practicing in full, and they're not really talking about the toe injury. We'll talk about the article that triggers the concern right here, coming from this right here, in the quote that Nabers gave on the toe situation. We'll talk about Joe Mixon, who, look, Nick Chubb is not somebody I love to draft, but Mixon is probably going to drop off the face of the earth. He is not ready now. He might be ready at some point during camp. And we've got MHJ positive news. We've got other things we're going to talk about. The Fantasy Football Show Breaking News Edition, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. That edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Now, Nabers has had this injury for a while now. You know, he's had it since college. We talked about this before. It's not anything new. Nothing's new here. The only thing that we've been waiting for with Nabers is, do they scale him back? And they're not. So to the letter of what I said a month ago, we shouldn't be all that alarmed as long as maybe the cost of entry drops a little bit. You package him in risk-wise into that 12-13 turn. I think it's probably a fine gamble to take, not in every league. This is not somebody you want to own everywhere. I'm overdrafting Genty. I'm overdrafting Bucky. I'm overdrafting CeeDee Lamb. I'm overdrafting Bijan and Gibbs. But I probably would say the one takeaway here is don't overdraft him. Don't run away from him. Don't turn your back on him at the 11 pick or 12 pick. But, I mean, this is certainly a concern, right? The fact that, and let me get to what the concern is because I haven't even read it to you yet. But here's the quote here. So, however, his toe issue is not a thing of the past. Nabers admitted that he may have his summer reps limited with surgery being an option somewhere down the line, possibly next season or the season after. So you might ask yourself, well, this isn't good. How can you play on this? He's played on it for a while. And it's one of those things where it's constantly sore. He's constantly having to rehab it. He's constantly having to rest it. And the toe just needs to be repaired at some point. There's been talk about it. It's just never really came to a complete thought for me to do it. But I've been managing it well, and I've been running around feeling pretty good. Everything's been well with the rehab, so the toe is feeling better. I'm just happy to be out there with my guys. And it says here at the bottom, as we've said, Nabers' injury dates back to college, and he's something to keep an eye on this season. I don't know what to tell you other than you can't put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to Nabers. As much as we want to say this is the dark horse number one wide receiver in the league, as much as we want to say this is the next Jamar Chase, and he still very may well be that in Dynasty context, this is something where you need to not put all your eggs in one basket because you're being telegraphed. This is being telegraphed right now that there is a major potential issue that won't go away. And while it hasn't gotten significantly worse, he's been able to play through it. He's been able to manage it. it's you can't expect that to always be the case. You can't expect, this to be the same rinse and repeat situation from last year, this year. You can't expect, because he's played on it well for 2+ years now, he'll be okay. This will progressively become more of an issue. It'll be harder to recover from game to game. And then maybe in week 10 or 11, you get left out to dry. So I'd probably just say, we're looking at this situation from a, you never answered my super chat. I probably did. You just probably left. So I'll try and answer. You said I gave you $5 heart last week for you never had my question answered. Bashal Tootin and a second. What is the question, bro? Bashal Tootin and a second. That's all you said there. Or Keon Coleman. There you go in the third rounder. Bashal Tootin in a second. I did answer that one. You just probably went to the bathroom or something, bro. I did answer that. But appreciate your super chat. Give me the running back. I like Keon Coleman, but give me the running back. Give me the opportunity that gets you, that grants you. As far as Nabers goes, if you had to take him at 6 right now or 7, which again, I don't think this is resonating yet. I think it will. I think that people will be talking about the toe. This eventually needing surgery is going to get around. Right now, it does not seem to be spreading like wildfire. I'll tell you that right now. It is wildly under the radar. It's mainly this headline here, Nabers. I even went on some these ex Twitter giant pages, and it's like Nabers is full go. They're not mentioning it at all. No one's mentioning it, but a couple different places and this article. But I would probably say that if you're having to draft Nabers at 1.6, that's not packaging in any sort of risk, to be honest. And all I see at this situation is a Lamb or a Genty or, and I'm definitely finding somebody that I would rather have than Nabers right here, just because of this situation, and only because of this situation. He might be the next Jamar Chase. He might very well be. I'd almost say he is the next Jamar Chase. We know that, and for the long term, we love him. But this is a concern. If we're saying, okay, well, what about 1.10, Smitty? Well, if Genty's still there, the same rules apply. The only time I'm starting to entertain Nabers again in round 1, which I'm not running away from him. I repeat, I'm not running away from Nabers. I'm just not oversaturating. But at 110, you're looking at BT, which honestly, I could rotate BTJ and Nabers. You're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown. I could rotate and even lean more Nabers than Brown. You're talking about Puka Nacua. I could definitely rotate that, and I definitely could lean more Nabers than Puka Nacua. But if Genty falls here and his ADP is 1.11 to 1.12. That's where Genty's going, 1.11, 1.12. So at 110, it becomes problematic for me to pass on a beast like Genty over a guy like Nabers, who we love but has a toe injury that eventually needs surgery, that he's had, that's been lingering, it's been sitting out there. I don't know about you guys, but it becomes a 12-13 turn pick situation for me. And if that is not in the cards right now because this is flying under the radar and everyone's repeating this headline, Nabers fully practice, instead of Nabers fully practice but may require surgery at some point. If that's flying under the radar, then you're not going to get this a lot. So we might not have as much Nabers shares right now. We've got tons of it, though, that we've already drafted. Nabers is a big player on this channel. We love Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers could be the number 1 overall Dynasty wide receiver, especially if the surgery's out of the way and we're talking about, totally healthy foot and toe. But this might be one of those things where we just kind of pivot. Everybody raise your hand if you've got a bunch of Malik Nabers shares already. I do. I've got a ton of Malik Nabers shares. A ton of them. If I pivoted and never returned to drafting in Best Ball, at least, Best Ball Mania, Underdog, Fantasy, I'd be okay because I have so many shares of Malik Nabers already. So I could pivot. A bunch of hands being raised. Now, in a non-best ball, though, what are we doing? Non-best ball, Are we attacking Nabers at 12, 11, 10? Again, yes and no. Yes, if Genty's gone. Yes, I'm attacking him if it's between Puka, St. Brown, Nico. But I'm not even mad at anybody drafting Nico or Puka ahead of Nabers if you want. I'm not. It's a risk. And anybody that comes in and just says, nah, he'll be fine, that's you putting on a blindfold and obliviously walking into a fire in flames and being like, I'll be all right. I don't know how long this flame will be, but maybe it's this deep and I'll just walk right out the other side. You can't think like that. That is you being oblivious. That's you backing your boy you've already drafted and you're just saying, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. I am going to obliviously be okay. Draft smartly. Draft in moderation. Do not oversaturate your teams with a play. Even in best ball. Going forward, even in best ball. And if you drafted tons of Nabers, just pivot. Go draft a bunch of different players. You cannot oversaturate on a player that is walking into a season telling you he's eventually going to need toe surgery. I'm eventually going to need toe surgery. You don't say that unless it's bad. And in the managing plan, we got a good management plan for it. That's also not something you want to hear. So this is some big concern. And honestly, it's time to at least ask the question.
You are entering the panic chamber, brought to you by theattic.shop. Vintage movie tees and hoodies. Are you a panicked Peter? Let's find out. You are entering the panic chamber. Chamber.
It's got to be, the question's got to be asked. And the honest truth is that when you have the doors closed on you in panic chamber mode here, doesn't mean we stray away from you, but there's legitimate and unquestioned panic. And with Nabers, you have to close the door. I'm not saying you don't draft him. I'm not saying you don't go down this road. I just mapped it all out. But you can't sit here and say he's not in the panic chamber. He's in the panic chamber. Draft him with intense scrutiny. Draft him being careful and do not oversaturate at all.
You are in the panic chamber.
As far as the other players in the news, and this is an unfortunate thing to have to come across, to be honest with you. Nabers is a phenom. We said we'd have more information before August 1st, and we certainly did. all we needed was something else. But the good news again is he's not getting the scale back right now. But I don't know if that's a smart thing. Marvin Harrison Jr. plans to play at 220 pounds. This monster, this beast.
Let him cook.
Now, I'm 217 pounds today, actually.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
I'm trying to get down to 200 even. So MHJ's going this way. Smitty's going this way. We're crossing paths. I don't want to be in the 220 range anymore. Maybe when I'm slimmed down and then I bulk up or something like that. But I'm trying to drop the LBs. If any of you want to join me, we have 44 days until opening day. 43, 44, what is it? 43. On opening day, Thursday night, I'm going to be ripped. Look, here's me flexing. You can't really see anything there. It's strong. It's strong, but there's no definition. I have to do one of those push things from the back. It's strong, but it's like a meat suit. I feel like I'm wearing a meat suit right now. I'm going to get ripped. I'm going to drop to 200 and we're going to be in shape. Maybe it's 205, but 200 is the goal. If anybody wants to just set a goal, like cut back on sugar, walk 10,000 steps a day, eat better, or run or lose weight, whatever, or just work out consistently, set a goal and let's do 44 days of it and see who's feeling great once Thursday night football week 1 kicks off. That is my goal, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it live. I'm tired of this back and forth. And I have failed about 50 times trying to do this, but I'm a busy guy. I'm live all the time, but I need to commit to it, and I have. I stopped drinking Coke So I'm no longer drinking the Mexican Cokes, unfortunately. I'll get back to it probably a little bit sparingly once I'm down to 200. I am drinking the vitamin water, but this is a lot. I drink like 2 of these a day, and there's like 160, or this is 100 calories. So I'm drinking like 200 calories of drink. I'm intermittent fasting. We're doing it live. But MHJ is doing it the other way. He's going to 220. He was listed as at 209 last year. And Ziggy, how tall is Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Marvin Harrison Jr. weighs 209 pounds and is 6 feet 3 inches tall.
Okay, so he's an inch taller than your boy, and I weigh currently 8 more pounds than him. So we're gonna swap. We're gonna swap sizes if we can. But this is a monster, and he's not meant for speed. He's meant for domination, spatial domination, jump ball, possession receiver, across the middle. Kind of like if they use him like the Chiefs want to use and have used Rashee Rice, just short intermediate stuff instead of just these go balls that they did all year long, where you had Kyler, scrambling this way, and you had MHJ doing this go route here. Kyler's over here, and then here running parallel. Who's that? That's McBride. And then Kyler just gives it to McBride over and over and over. Here, McBride catch, and Marvin Harrison's running down the opposite side of the field where Kyler can't even see over the offensive line. It's like him rolling. He's like him running alongside of like 9-foot oleanders when he's running across this offensive line and on the line of scrimmage. It's like 9-foot oleanders, and MHJ's on the other side going, Marco, and Kyler's not even yelling polo. Like there's nothing. And so we need Petzing and everybody to be drawing up things like this for MHJ so he can roll with Kyler. Kyler's always rolling outside the pocket. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing outside the pocket, but for good reason, because he can't see in the pocket. But they need to make this guy like Hopkins was when he came over to Arizona. They need to make him the best receiver in the league catching footballs when his quarterback is outside the pocket. So can't wait for that. And everything we're hearing is they're doing that. Everything we're hearing about MHJ bulking up, staying after, first one in, last one to leave the facility, didn't miss a day of the offseason. His staff and his GM said, I don't think there was a day he wasn't here in the facility putting in the work. There's no greater work ethic from the wide receiver position than MHJ. And bulking up, I think it's going to be a great year. This is a guy that had nearly just about 900 yards and 8 TDs. That is a pretty damn good year from a player that struggled admittedly to catch on until midseason, and everybody's complaining about his quarterback. I trust MHJ, just don't trust Kyler. He got 8 TDs running go balls half the time, more than half the time. So you think what you want on MHJ. MHJ to me is going to the moon. To Mars.
To Mars.
Maybe to Saturn. If we're lucky. And you can come along for the ride, or you can just, hang out at the space station and sit there the rest of your fantasy football season. That's up to you. Jerome Ford, according to Kevin Stefanski, he said it's fair to say Jerome Ford is the team's top running back. Judkins is toast right now as far as playing week 1. Maybe even playing at any point during the season. And Dylan Sampson is the new dark horse to be the eventual, receiving back, and then he'll start grabbing more and more. And if Jerome Ford can't stay healthy, I envision anyway, there a day where Sampson's the only healthy or available running back. And so if Judkins is out of play, Ford's banged up, and then we have a day here in the very near future, I imagine before even like week 6, we'll have a solo, not because he, put everybody on the bench and they're not even able to touch the football anymore. It could be due to injury. And once he gets his shot, everyone will realize Sampson is the best overall running back and especially best pass catching running back on the roster, like I've said since January. So Sampson to the moon, and Ford to the moon right now too. If you need a running back and he's sitting there, he's obviously got a leg up. Joe Mixon, this is the report I was talking about earlier. NBC reporting that Joe Mixon ankle and foot will be ready at some point during training camp though participating on the first day remains possible. Participating how, we don't know. But look, this is a guy that has been like in walking boots, and he's just older and broke down majorly last year. And as much as he was super ultra impressive for about 10 weeks last year, ranging in running back 1 to running back 5 overall, all during that 10-week span, he fell off the face of the earth, and the mileage has added up. And Nick Chubb, while he's not a super, likely to stay healthy prospect as well at his ripe age with all of his injuries, Woody Marks is going to kind of fly under the radar, the rookie. Not hearing a bunch about him right now. We do like him as a prospect, or did like him as a prospect till Chubb landed on roster, but this might be one of those quiet waiver wire situations like week 5, week 6, week 7. So we got to keep an eye on Woody Marks. But Nick Chubb is certainly, as crazy as it is, he's climbing in value every minute that Mixon feels like. This is kind of similar to the Ford situation. Ford and Chubb, they have these values that might help people early on. Can I envision Chubb and Ford both being electric all year long? Hell no. But they're pretty solid options right now. Can I envision Sampson crushing Woody Marks? Yes. But do I feel like Woody Marks has kind of similar positioning? Kind of. So we'll have to monitor all those situations. There are definitely multiple layers to all of this. There's not just it's Sampson season, or it's Ford season. Keenan Allen, according to Jordan Schultz of NFL insider Jordan Schultz, the Keenan Allen sweepstakes is kind of, there's a little bit of movement there. He's drawn interest from multiple teams in recent weeks, according to Jordan Schultz. And this is a player that I love in fantasy, grabbing in that later part of your draft, like double-digit rounds, round 13, round 14, round 15, because I think he is on a team. The Chargers could be one of those teams. I don't think so anymore because of how well Quentin Johnston is doing right now, which I don't buy for a second. I guess I could draft Quentin Johnston, and I would draft Trey Harris. I could do a stack in best ball, or I could draft Quentin Johnston in 1 or 2 leagues and just hope that he continues to do what he's doing right now in practice. But right now in practice, he's just catching the ball. Like he's running downfield. Herbert's making a nice throw, and Quentin Johnston's catching it. And he normally doesn't do that. So everybody's up in arms right now in camp. They're calling him a camp monster. But so was Keon Coleman last offseason. He was a camp monster. You can't always take this camp stuff too seriously, but because he's doing well, because I love Trey Harris, because Ladd's there, I don't know that Keenan Allen becomes a fit to return to LAC, although it's possible. I think there's a handful of places he could go. San Francisco's dealing with injuries. Cowing's now hurt. And so I could see San Francisco bringing him in. But I know he doesn't want to be a camp body. So San Francisco is maybe the more likely situation for that to happen, because they've got Ayuk eventually coming back. They have Ricky Parasol. They have Juwan Jennings. They have Cowing. They have a lot of bodies there. And so Keenan probably doesn't want to go to a crowded environment. But he could go really anywhere. Buffalo would be very smart, although they didn't use Amari Cooper last year, so they probably wouldn't use Keenan Allen properly either. New wide receivers and Josh Allen haven't seemed to be jiving lately. On the Juwan Jennings front, Juwan Jennings' contract is the problem here. Practice in full on Wednesday. This is good news for the Niner fans, and he's awaiting his contract. But that doesn't mean he won't hold in eventually. If he's like waiting in good faith right now, he feels like they're not going to take care of it, he could all of a sudden, pull the plug on being there fully participating. Godwin underwent a second ankle procedure, as we mentioned yesterday. That this is the reports conflicting though, because I believe it's the same writer that tweeted out that it was a knee, or that it was an second ankle procedure. But then in the article talked about it being a cleanup scope of the knee. So we have conflicting reports in the writer's own writing as to whether it was a second ankle surgery, or whether it was an additional surgery that was a knee scope, or if it was both. If he had a second procedure on the ankle and also had a knee scope. We're not too sure, and we don't have a lot of clarification because the article said 2 different things coming from ESPN from this tweet from this reporter that NBC Sports is highlighting here, Jenna Lane. So all we know for certain is that he had a second surgery in the spring, which could be, June, it could be April, could be May. We don't know when they're referencing that surgery. We don't have a lot of details, but this is not good news and probably means this is part of why they drafted Egbuka for sure, but partly means that he's starting the year on the PUP, which will mean he'll miss the first 4 weeks of the season, and Egbuka's stock goes to the moon like we've been saying all offseason long.
Let him cook.
Just going to the moon. Egbuka season's here to stay. Egbuka's here to stay. You're either on the Egbuka train or you're not. I don't really care either way. I think that people that aren't on the train, they just have never ridden a train before. I think so. They don't even know what to do here. But it's full anyway. It's crowded. We don't need any more people on the train, so that's fine. Jennings, I think I got every piece of news. Is this Luther Burden? Yeah, Bears wide receiver Luther Burden is not participating at the start of training camp, and Ben Johnson's been very disappointed in him and said so at the podium when asked questions about it. So not looking like a good start for him. And I think that's all of the news right now. Oh, we did have a piece of news on Caleb. Let me see if I had that. That wasn't looking good. Was it right here? I think I didn't send it to my screen yet. Let me just send it on over, but not a good start for Caleb Williams today. Let me put that up here. And for those expecting huge things out of him in camp, I mean, things can turn around, but it's just, it's the very beginning. But this is not a good sign. I'm telling you, this guy does not know how to operate a team like people think he does. Caleb is so far behind where Bo Nix is, where Penix Jr. is. He's so far behind JD5. It's not even like, it's like talking about a 5-year veteran in JD5 and a 4 or 3-year veteran in Bo Nix and a 2 or 3-year veteran in Penix Jr. and a player that hasn't even played their rookie season yet. That is the difference between these quarterbacks. This right here, I guess it was a rough day of training camp for Bears QB Caleb Williams under new head coach Ben Johnson. It looks like there was an interception on his first rep in 11 on 11 drills, and Johnson yelled, "You're out!" when Williams and the first team offense couldn't get lined up correctly in 7 on 7. Not the best start. You're out! I don't know. I mean, that's horrible. Can you imagine if someone walked up to Joe Burrow or JD5 or Bo Nix, even if you want to use Joe Burrow or use one of the youngins, and say that they walked up to him and said, yeah, Dart pick 6 as well. Dart walks out, first throw, pick 6. So Dart, But can you imagine if a coach, I don't care who it is, I don't care if it's a veteran coach, I don't care if it's Joe Burrow's coach he's had for forever, or if it's a brand new coach like Ben Johnson, can you imagine saying, you're out? Joe Burrow will walk right up to you and put you right in your place. A Bo Nix wouldn't take that for a second. Caleb, you're out! And Caleb just goes straight to the sideline. Like, that's crazy. That's embarrassing. And honestly, I don't know if this is the way you want things to look if you're Ben Johnson. I don't know if that's what I would be doing, is saying you're out. Like, what is that? All right. And some of this is, this is being reported. I wasn't there. I can only do so much, when we're talking about these reports. So you have to understand, that some things could be reported wrong, and we'll talk about it and reference it later. But for sometimes when a report's wrong and people go, Smitty, are you eating crow, or how do you feel about that situation? You got wrong, and I'm like, I didn't get. Look, we're breaking down the news. We got what we got to deal with. These are the reports, and we digest it the way we can. And if things get updated, we'll digest them again. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
You're out! That's what I'm going to do when anybody mouths off on the phone line like Gump. Instead of just hitting the hang-up button, I'm yelling, you're out first. Kyler and MHJ or Fields and Wilson, QB wide receiver stack. That's a pretty damn close combo, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, the ADPs are lined up nearly perfectly. I would say that Wilson and Garrett Wilson and Fields are a little bit more attractive. But those are really, really good comparisons. Until we see Kyler and MHJ do it, I assume Garrett Wilson and his former college, quarterback, Justin Fields, they have a rapport. We know the rapport is there. They played, for those that don't know, Fields and Garrett Wilson played football together in college. This is a reuniting of two monsters that know how to play football together. Thank you for the super chat on that one, Jazzy. Anybody else has a super chat, drop it like it's hot. I'll handle them in order in which they're received, and I'll handle them right away. So if you drop a super chat, I'll answer it right away. Who is on the line right now? You're live. Where are you calling from?
Smitty, this is Luke from Tampa, Florida.
What's up, Luke?
How's it going, man? My league just did the draft lottery. I got the 101. I had a question. I want to take Bijan, but no one in my league likes Drake London. I think he could fall to me in the second round. What do you think I should do?
I'm fine grabbing both of them. I mean, the offense will be high octane, but it depends on what other players there. I can't imagine a wide receiver better than London is sitting there at your turn picks at the end of the corresponding 1 overall draft selections that you have down there at the bottom of 2. I can't imagine.
Sure.
So London for sure. I'm not going to pass on that because of the, they play on the same team. But in high octane, potent offenses, not too worried about it. Like Genty and Bowers, I'm still going to draft even that if it's the best player available, because I know that, and you might say that the Raiders aren't going to be high octane. That's true. But the ratio of what Bowers and Genty are going to get, and the lack of supporting cast outside of those two, the ratio of what they're going to get similar to the amount of volume someone would get on a high octane offense. So it's very, very similar in terms of the divide.
Okay.
London to the moon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like you wouldn't. I don't either go Gibbs or Chase.
I mean, bro, they're all awesome picks, man. It depends on what you think you can pull off in the second and third rounds. Me telling you go Chase, I'm not going to tell you go Chase, go Bijan without knowing those details, and they're all super close. I could argue Gibbs, I could argue Chase, I could argue Bijan. I'm not saying I'd take Lamb 1, but I could argue that I want Lamb as much as anybody, and if I can move down to 4 and move my third rounder into the bottom of 2 or something, of course I'm going to take Lamb chops. But those are all very, very contingent upon what can happen in round 2 and 3. If you could get Bucky in round 2, I do lean Jamar Chase if you're getting Bucky,
Right.
Or if you go Bijan and Bucky falls, you take him anyway, and you go Garrett Wilson and Bucky back to back.
Yeah, I would love that too. It's a running back heavy draft. Everybody freaks out over running back, so that's why I think a Drake London will fall. But I don't know. Well,
I love Garrett Wilson. I don't want to say as much as Drake London, but if there's a running back, I said I don't want to say as much. I just said, but I like Garrett Wilson enough to say if something happened and London just barely got snagged, or you're trying to avoid that having one team tank you each week. And in best ball, it doesn't matter as much. In non-best ball, it is a little more important not to stack like that. But I could easily go Bijan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson, and not bat an eye, not lose a single wink of sleep or think I made any mistakes. Like Garrett Wilson can play like a top 12 overall player. I think London's safer, but I would not even. I'd rather have London. In a vacuum, I want London. I'm ranking London ahead of him, but I'm quietly smiling when I have Garrett Wilson in the third round as my wide receiver 1, and I went Bucky and Gibbs or Bucky and Bijan, and I'm smashing people to pieces.
How about QB at that turn? What do you think about
No, too early.
Josh Allen or Lamar?
No,
really?
At the 2-3 turn, no. I mean, bro, you can get Burrow or Mahomes or Bo Nix, and I love those quarterbacks at the 3-4 turn, but you're talking about 2-3 turn. if quarterbacks go that high in this draft, you're going to get so much amazing talent in the 3rd and 4th round, and then you're still going to get a Mahomes or whatever. And if it doesn't go that way, heavy QB at the 2-3 turn, then why in the hell are you considering it? You know?
True. Yeah. No, you're right on. I like the idea of like a Lamar, Zay Flowers stack. I know you're not in love with Zay Flowers, but I think I could get him kind of later in the draft.
Don't worry about stacks in redraft, bro. It's only fun. It doesn't, not effective. It's effective in best ball. It's not. So like, I don't mind it. Like if it falls into your lap, you take Flowers, so be it. But like the fact that you're clamoring over a Flowers and Lamar stack, Lamar hasn't produced a top 20 wide receiver ever.
Yeah,
I
have an infatuation about Zay Flowers for some reason.
Okay, well, you can do that on your own time, not on my watch. All right, bro, appreciate you. Call back if you got another one.
All right, brother.
All right, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Nabers falls in ADP because of this. Get him. If he falls in this because of this, I mean, we got to figure out where he's going to fall. If he falls at 12, I like that, and I still don't oversaturate it and overdraft it, but it certainly makes it a much less risky proposition. You know, if you could get Genty and Nabers at the 12-13, I love that. But I don't know that Nabers is falling there yet. He might. We have to kind of monitor it. But at his current 6, 7, 8 overall value, I'm fading Nabers a little more than I'm taking him, if that makes sense. It doesn't mean I'm fading him entirely. I want my shares. But in best ball, I might be fading him going forward because I've already drafted a ton of Malik Nabers at the 6, 7, 8 range. I don't want any more of that. So until his ADP readjusts downward, I'm not taking Nabers until he's in a new draft ADP territory. Once he's at that 12th pick, I'll want a ton of shares of teams that you can build from 12 with Nabers at 12 or 11. So just like right now, I have a lot of Bijan teams built from 3, 4, 5, 6, right? A lot of us do. I don't have, and I do now, but I didn't have a ton of Bijan teams built from the 1 pick because you're going to build different teams. And so you want different shares on Underdog for that or in redraft, whatever. And so I'm drafting Bijan and Gibbs 1 and 2 overall right now, like clockwork. And I'm going through the motions on that. And I just think that when you have enough shares of Jamar Chase at 1, it's time to get some diversification and start building those 24-25 turn picks with Bijan, 24-25 turn picks with Gibbs, and take it that way. Go ahead. Who's Will? Will, what's up, my boy?
Hey, Smitty.
Who is this? Donnie. Donnie, what's up, Donnie? What can I do for you?
Hey. So I was hearing you earlier with the whole Genty and Nabers, but I wanted to ask same question for Achane. Are you leaning more Achane on like the 10th pick or Nabers still?
Achane at the 10 pick or Nabers? I'd probably lean Achane a little more. Someone says it doesn't show that I'm live on YouTube, but we have 425 people in the building. We have 304 on YouTube right now, 121 on Twitter. I'll look into that. I don't know what would be the issue with that, but I'll check it out. But yeah, bro, I really, really believe that Achane is a league winner. And I don't know what's going on with this. Is anybody having an issue finding the stream? I don't think they did. I mean, we got tons of people in here. No, I don't see any issues with it. I don't know. YouTube might be doing something weird. I don't know. Looks good to me. Plus, we have 300 people in here, so I think we're fine. But to answer your question, bro, I would definitely take Nabers at 12. Like I said, I'm going to take him at 12, but I'm going to take him in a rotation. I'm still not oversaturating Nabers whatsoever. So if I'm sitting there at 12 overall and I have 14 drafts from this 12 spot, this 12-13 turn, I'm probably taking Nabers in 10 to 15% of those. but I'm not going to take him like I would. Genty's going to be 40, 50%. I'm going to take Genty, maybe even more than that. Genty will be one of these two picks if his ADP lives at 12. We won't see Genty at 12 for very long. And if we do, I'll keep taking it. But I think that he's going to climb back up into that 6, 7, 8, 9 territory. So we need to do what we can to oversaturate and brute force draft Genty at 11, 12 as much as we can. So I'm taking a lot of Achane Genty. I'm taking a lot of Genty Nabers. I'm taking a lot of... So I think Genty would overpower and Nabers would have to rotate with the other spot. But yeah, I'm going to take him 10, 15% of the time probably at 12, 13. I'm going to take Nabers going forward. Remember, I have a lot of shares of this already, but going forward on Underdog, I'm taking 0 shares of Nabers at 6 overall, at 6 to 7 overall, because I already have so many shares of him. So I'm gonna pivot on that until he falls down to 12. When he falls to 12, I'm back in, but sparingly, smartly, periodically.
Yeah, because in my situation, I've been going a lot of like Genty and then Bucky on the turn, and I've been going Bucky a lot on second round. So I was wondering if the Nabers and Achane applies. So it's like a Genty Achane or a Genty Bucky that I lean more towards. On the third round, that's where I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if I should go running back again or a wide receiver. What receivers do you like in the third round?
Garrett Wilson, MHJ, JSN, but a little less, so there. I love JSN in the 4 a little more than that. Those
Devontae or Tyreek?
Adams is okay. I don't have a lot of Adams shares though, bro. But Tyreek, no. I'm just not drafting. I mean, Tyreek in 3, maybe one time out of a rare, a rarity, sure. But let's say I'm drafting in 3 buddy leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have 0 shares of Tyreek in round 3. 0.
Yeah.
If I'm doing
So
in 3 buddy leagues. If I'm doing best ball and I'm drafting, I draft a ton, bro. I don't know. I'm gonna max out on Best Ball Mania, and I think that max on that is what 120 drafts or 150, whatever it is. So 120 Best Ball Manias. I need to have like 5 to 6 drafts of Tyreek. I need to have like 2 to 3 of CMC, or I'm not saying like I can't have like 10 of them of CMC either. But I need to have some. I'm not going to avoid Derrick Henry or, do I have to draft Caleb Williams in one of them? No. but guys like CMC, Henry, Barkley, who I'm scared of drafting, I have to have some. We're talking like out of 100. Let's just make it simple math. Out of 100, I want like 5 to 6 CMC teams. And these are players I don't draft. I don't want to draft them. But you're protecting yourself in case, let's say he goes nuts. At least you got 5 shots at it. But yeah, Tyreek Hill is in that bucket. If I'm drafting at 100 best ball drafts, I don't mind if I have him in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 drafts out of 100.
Yeah, because like my main focus is like a home league that I'm in, and it's only like a 10-team league, so I'm really liking the whole Genty Achane or Genty Bucky or even a Achane Bucky.
Love it.
It's that third round. Where I'm just like, I don't know if I should go running back again or wide receiver. So
I've gone Kyron before.
On the third round?
In the third round, and then gone Rice, Debo, Hunter. And I've actually really liked Rashee Rice, Debo, Hunter as my trio wide receivers. And you still could get...
Do you like Hampton?
Love Hampton. Yeah. But, I mean, it just depends, bro. Go with the flow. Don't take it too seriously. And what I mean by that is don't draft like crap. I'm just saying, understand that, you're trained for this. And you'll be able to, if you take the best player available at every turn, you'll probably be okay. You might have a void somewhere, but that's who you've been trained to fill that void. You're trained to go get Jaden Blue. You're trained to go get Egbuka. You're trained to go get Deebo Samuel later when people are crapping all over him. You're getting Evan Ingram as a breakout tight end. You're getting Bo Nix as a, especially in best ball, bully QB. You'll be okay, bro. But don't be afraid to try different things on best ball. That's why best ball is so amazing. We'll be drafting on best ball tonight. Underdog code Smitty. Here's the link right here. If you haven't done that, this is where you can do $3, $5 drafts and brute force the hell out of a couple different strategies and attempts at something. That's why don't take it seriously. Do some best ball. Do a $5, $10 best ball draft. And try it out with a smile. I'm going to go. Don't be so stressed about it. Go running back, and see what you can do. Maybe you'll do great with it. Maybe you'll almost do great with it, but you'll say, God, I fell short. But if I have a different draft slot, I've learned through a $10 experiment or $5, I've learned that if I've got a draft slot that was just 2 or 3 spots higher, I would have got Rashee Rice. And then you try it again and you rinse and repeat. All right, my boy.
I appreciate it. Love the show. Have a good one.
Joe loves you back. Call back if you got another one. Now, just it's people get too caught up on should I do this? I don't know. I will certainly give you my take on it, but it's important to know that you got to take the best player available. You got to go with the flow. You know, there's 100,000 ways to win. Even if you go the wrong way, you can still win, you know? And in this example I always give people, if you go out there and you get a photo radar ticket because you run that traffic light, and that's a no-no, and you get that photo radar ticket in the mail, or a police officer pulls you over and gives you a ticket, you can either cry, whine, complain, or you can say to yourself, I want to make this do something. Now, I want to make me do something I normally wouldn't have done. Meaning, maybe you would have gotten an accident had you not gotten that ticket by that police officer, and you need to drive safer that next turn. I'm on the clock here in a draft. I thought I'd share with you guys. I was going to pull it up. Let me see if I can pull the draft up right now. But I believe what pick did I get? I got the 1.4, and I was going to try and see where Nabers was going while we were live. I normally don't draft on the 8 p.m. show, but I wanted to see if Nabers was potentially going to go. I was going to get a spot where I could get him at like 10 or 11, but I just don't think there's an adjustment yet. I don't think there's an adjustment period at all yet. Let me see if I can find 4 picks away. I'm trying to pull up this draft. Four picks away, 3 picks away. I'll share my screen with you right now. There it is. It's so hard to find these drafts when you have like 50 of them going on desktop. It's not the same look. All right, here we go. Here's the draft. Jamar Chase, MHJ, Josh Jacobs there. The guy at the 2 pick is JJ and Trey McBride. He's going to go. He's got 12 seconds left. Barkley, Tyreek right before me. That guy went Chase Brown. Top players available to the right. You can see that. Garrett Wilson's still there. Hopefully Garrett Wilson falls. And Garrett Wilson falls. He takes T. Higgins. Good on him. This is probably one of my favorite starts right now in fantasy football, Best Ball Mania. This Bijan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson start. It's a phenomenal start. I love it. I believe I've got a top 6 to 10 wide receiver. Top 5 to 10, really. I mean, Garrett Wilson's that good with Fields. I mean, this is a duo that played college football together. The rapport's there. Garrett Wilson just mossed a defender in practice today. Just absolutely mossed him. They threw the ball up above his head, and he just picked it off over his head like that. That's called mossing somebody, when you grab it above them like that, pull it back over their head. Garrett Wilson's going to have a phenomenal year. Love this start. To get what I believe to be two top 5 running backs with a top 5 to 10 wide receiver. And I had some Mickey Mouse commenter in my Instagram comments on my Garrett Wilson. It was a take that didn't even really reference Garrett Wilson in round 3. He's like, Garrett Wilson in round 3, that's wild. And I'm like, wild on what side? I don't even know what side you're referencing that as wild. Do you like Garrett Wilson? Do you don't like Garrett Wilson? It's kind of crazy to me. If you guys want to draft as well, remember, Underdog, code Smitty gets it done. Make sure you use code Smitty because they'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. And it's only a $10 minimum. I just dropped the link in the live chat right now. But I was like, what side's wild? Like, because he should be going earlier? And he's like, no, Garrett Wilson in round 3 is wild. Garrett Wilson in round 3 is one of the biggest steals in all of fantasy football 2025. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't be shocked if Garrett Wilson climbed significantly. Wouldn't be shocked if Garrett Wilson started to climb into the 25, 24, 25, 26 territory, like the 24, 25 turn, the 2-3 turn. That's where he deserves to go. And we're almost on the clock again here. Hampton just went. Would have loved to have had Hampton. There's a slew of wide receivers right here. The running backs available: Kenneth Walker, Kamara, Joe Mixon. All the RBs are ripped from the board at this point. Would have loved someone like Hampton to fall, but he didn't. Now we could go JD. Oh, JD5 just went. Could go Jalen Hurts if I wanted to. I think I'll pass on that. I could go. DK's not bad here. McLaurin's pretty good here. I'm going to go. I don't do a lot of McLaurin here. Let's take McLaurin at this spot. Holdout doesn't concern me all that much, especially as my fourth player nearing this 4 or 5 turn. So I'll go with Terry McLaurin. Scared Scott, you're live.
All right. What would you do with Nabers? Would you trade him? Would you like try to get Nabers in London for London and somebody else? Something
I think
like
you sound very scared about this from the long term, but I clarified that in Dynasty it doesn't really do anything. But if you're trying to win now in Dynasty and you're worried about this and how it affects your cash money this year, I'm fine. And redraft. Well, I don't know yet. Most human beings have not redrafted yet. So it's wild that you have so many of these redraft teams. But I would say go get London and something. Yes. What's the and something? You got to give me some examples, Scott. I'm not a mind reader.
I have them in 2 leagues. There's one guy that has London and Rice.
London and Rice.
Mm-hmm.
I would. You asking me if I'd take both of them? Sure. You bet your bottom dollar I would.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think is a good second receiver?
Look at that.
Something that,
Scott, how scary on a scale of 10 being the scariest and 1 being the non-scariest? Bijan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, Travis Hunter.
it's not bad.
Doesn't scare you?
No, I'm not real big on scary Terry, but
okay. Go ahead.
Is that he's going to in best ball. He's much better than redraft. I would McLaurin in.
All right. What's your next question?
I was just curious about the whole freaking Nabers thing because it just sounds like fucking the exact same.
Stop cursing for my monetization. For my monetization reasons, please watch the potty mouth you constantly bring onto the channel. All right, what's your question before you derailed the whole topic? Say it again. Hello, Scared Scott. I don't know. Scared Scott muted himself. Scott, are you there, Scott? Okay, restate what you were saying before you derailed it with your anti-monetization language. Go ahead.
I don't remember even what I was saying.
All right.
Oh, it reminds me a lot of Michael Thomas.
That's why I went live on it, so that you wouldn't be so petrified. Let me merge this call. Hold on. I knew that Scott would be really, really scared over that topic, so that's why I went live on it, But I think that you got to approach this for You got to approach this in a very careful fashion, but very calculated. You know, there's a lot of reasons to like Nabers if his ADP readjusts to like 11 or 12. If it stays at 6, 7, then I'm just telling you I'm out for now, but really anxiously waiting to get back in at the 12, 13 turn. Very, very anxiously waiting. All right, Scott, hang tight, my boy. Hang tight. Let's see here. We got another Scott on the phone line. 409. You're live. What can I do for you?
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, I was wondering just how much you would pay for Nabers in a Dynasty League. I've got an opportunity to pick him up. He needs a running back, so I kind of worked something out, but I'm kind of getting a little bit of cold feet. I'm not the scared Scott, but anyways, he wants R.J. Harvey, George Pickens, and a 26 mid first for Nabers.
R.J. Harvey, George Pickens, and a 26 mid first rounder.
Yes, sir.
Give me Nabers. But that's a really interesting trade. But at the end of the day, think about this from a dynasty startup perspective. Where are you drafting Nabers round 1? Where are you drafting RV? Where are you drafting Pickens? What is this first rounder? None of that is even guaranteed to be third round value. Nabers has more value than all of that, in my opinion, especially if you consider like what depth you might have that goes in your lineup. Because at the end of the day, if you compare what your lineup would be with the other pieces that you have on the bench with Nabers, it probably outscores it. But it's a good offer. If it was different, if it wasn't Pickens, but it was like Travis Hunter, it would be different for me. I could get behind that a little bit more. What do you guys think of this team? Hold on one second. Bijan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Travis Hunter, Joe Burrow.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a good squad.
I love that squad.
I'm going to time out. I'm going to time out. I got to time out. I'll take him early because he won't make it back to me, but I'm going to take him early. I want Boldy quarterback, Mahomes and Burrow. So I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I didn't want to time out. There really wasn't anybody I loved here. It was like Diggs, Golden, Shakir, Pollard, Josh Downs, Aaron Jones. You see the list right there. Mooney. I like Igbuka, but he might make it back. He might not. But there's nothing there. There was nothing. I didn't want to risk losing Mahomes, who was creeping up in vision of the scroll list, the first scroll. So I just went, this is good. I mean, look, Bijan and Bucky so powerhouse, RB1, 2. And then to have these 3 wide receivers and then the 2 quarterbacks is a fantastic start. I'm sorry, Bruce, what did you say?
I said I loved your team.
Oh, thank you. All right, Bruce, hang tight real quickly. What was your other question? The other caller? Scott? Nabers? Oh, the Nabers question.
Good.
Yeah. What did the chat think? Let me put it on the board real quickly. Again, this is a Dynasty PPR, right? Dynasty PPR. It was Harvey, a mid 26 first, and Pickens. For
I could for Nabers, yeah. Or I could sub in St. Brown for 2 of those players. So if I wanted to keep Pickens and Harvey, I could sub in St. Brown. Or if I wanted to keep the first and Harvey, I could sub in St. Brown for them.
Okay, so St. Brown and
I'm making it complicated, I know.
Well, no, St. Brown at a mid first for Nabers. I don't know. I would trade this for Nabers. Chat, do you agree? It's a lot on this side of the trade, no doubt about it. But again, you don't have a single guaranteed third round dynasty startup player here, whereas Nabers is a top 6 overall dynasty startup player. So I think I got somebody saying keep the Pickens side. I can't imagine that the chat believes that as a whole. That cannot be. There's no way. That's got to be a one-off. Travis says keep Nabers. Nabers clears that. Rain says, okay. You make that trade. Nabers for me, bro. Final answer. No question. And that's a good.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good conversation to have right now because there's, panic setting in for people right now. But we need to, check. Damn it. I guess I'll go Jordan Mason. I'll be honest, I was running out of time. I didn't love that pick, but I don't mind it. I like him. It's definitely a good spot. Not a horrible. Scott, do you have something else? I think he butt dialed us right back. Go ahead, Bruce. What else you got, Bruce?
I have a question, and I traded Barkley a while ago, and I got Harvey and Hendy and all these guys. But my other running backs are Bucky and Breece Hall. Would you trade Bucky or Breece Hall in a late first-round pick for Nabers? Because I'm thinking of offering it to the Nabers owner.
Bucky or Breece Hall? I'm not trading Bucky.
Yeah.
I'd probably trade Breece Hall for Nabers, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Bucky, I mean, I kind of like Nabers more. It's Dynasty, but I would try and because you gave me the option, I'm gonna do the Hall for Nabers for sure. I mean, bro, Hall's going in the 4th round in redraft. You think Hall's going to go in the any higher in Dynasty? I mean, he might after he plays a really good season, but I mean, you're talking about redraft value for Hall that's in nearly 4th round. That's a complete steal.
Hendy and Harvey, and then it was Bucky, Hall, and Kyron, and I was like, maybe I should try to trade one of them.
Bro, Hall and Nabers are miles apart in Dynasty value. Miles apart. Bucky's at least in the 2nd round, but I definitely try and keep Bucky. But if you get Nabers for Breece Hall, I'll be amazed. I think you're thinking of this thing as if Hall's got more value than he has. He might after this year, but he doesn't right now. Hall is completely disrespected. He's one of the disrespected for a reason right here. Let me see.
The disrespected.
He's on this list for a reason. No one is respecting him. You're not going to get Nabers. Is that you just cooking that up, or did somebody actually come to you with that trade? Because they're gonna slam.
No. The guy gave me 3 choices. Bucky, he either wants Bucky, Kyron, or Hall. And I said Kyron's off limits.
Okay.
And so it's either Bucky or Hall. But if I give him Bucky, I give him the latest first-round pick I have. If I give him Hall, it's the earliest.
What's the pick?
I have multiple.
What's the pick? What pick is it?
The earliest would be like 1.4. If I give him Hall.
I don't want to give him the 1.4. But I don't want to give him Bucky either. I don't know, bro. That's a tough one. Scott, call back if you want. I thought you were butt dialing us, but you can call back if you got another question. You just hung up and then called back twice, so I didn't know. But if you got another one, call again. I would say, bro, give him Hall.
Would be,
give him Hall in the late.
Would be the 112.
Okay, give him 112.
Okay.
Give him a couple 2nd rounders as well if you have them, and give him Hall for Nabers. Try that. And if that doesn't work, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to give him the 1.4. Because I mean that's Hampton or Hunter,
Yeah.
So no. I'd give him a future 1st rounder, and if he wants that instead of the 112, and say, like, look, you're getting a better shot at getting not the 112. You might get the 1.5. Give him a future 1st rounder. A future 1st rounder and a 2nd with Hall for Nabers. Do that. And honestly, I'd be tempted to give him the 1.12 and a future 1st rounder if he could kick anything back your way that you kind of quietly like.
Okay. So let's say like he does do that, and then he kicks back like a 2027 first.
Sure.
So you would do that?
So say the
Okay.
sum total of the trade again.
So it would be Hall, the 112, and the following year's first round pick, and then Nabers, and then another first round.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do that. Definitely do that, Bruce. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, hang tight real quickly. Let me go to this next caller. Indy Joe, you're live.
Hey, how's it going, Smitty? Real quick, so I got one question and maybe a follow-up. Where do you see Stroud finishing at the end of the season as far as QB fantasy rankings?
Bench. No, I don't know. I think he could be like 10.
Top 10. Do you think he'll be top 10?
It could be like 10 to 15. You know? I don't know. Hard to say, my boy. It's not an easy thing to predict. Let me just make a pick here. I don't have a lot of stacks going on, but I don't really care so much about that on this particular.
I know there's quite a bit of quarterbacks, that could go ahead of him or place ahead of him, like Nix or definitely Daniels.
Yeah,
like Daniels will definitely finish ahead of him.
Let's take a look at this board. Let's take a look at this board. Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray. I think he outscores Caleb. I think Fields outscores him. I think that Brock Purdy, you never know. Goff, I mean, we'll see what Goff does, but honestly, I don't believe Goff's going to be the same guy. Bo Nix outscores him. Baker outscores him. Dak Prescott outscores him. J.J. McCarthy could outscore him. Drake May probably outscores him, in my opinion, or is close. Penix Jr., Cam Ward are all right there. I'd rather have Cam Ward a lot later and get somebody else in place of that Stroud pick.
Whoa. Really?
Sure. Bro, Stroud crapped the bed last year, man. Hardcore.
Yeah, he definitely
Hardcore.
did. Definitely did.
So I don't want anything to do with him.
Hard.
I don't need Stroud. Stroud could, if I'm wrong on Stroud, I don't care. So be it. Let somebody else be right on Stroud. They're not gonna best me because I doubted Stroud. Like Stroud's not gonna be somebody that loses me a league because I doubted him. I'm gonna get somebody that's just gonna do the job a little bit safer and better. And if it ends up being the same, so be it. But I'm not losing nothing on Stroud. I don't care if Stroud is great. Somebody goes, you were wrong. I don't care. I don't care. Stroud's not worth the risk, and he's going so late he's an afterthought. But I do think he's got potential to bounce back. I just don't want to get on the train and see if it happens right away. He was despicable last year. And then when everyone called me callous when I said on a live stream, not necessarily on this one, but it was on Instagram, where I said that I didn't like how he cried like a baby when Tank Dell hurt his knee. I thought that was very, very. That's not a commander in chief in the huddle. Like, everyone's like, but that's his best friend. I don't care. His best friend's still breathing. He tore his knee. I don't understand why it makes you crumble. And then later on, he's like, I'm gonna be a leader this year. Like, why haven't you been a leader the whole time? What do you mean you're gonna be a leader this year? I'm gonna take more of a leadership role this year. You're the quarterback. What a bad season. And the offensive line's in shambles. Who knows what's going on at running back? They made Bobby Sloak the scapegoat, which was a horrible decision, and I think a stupid move. I just want nothing to do with them, bro. Anybody that says, but do you think it's because you own Stroud and you want me to say something nice about him? And I'm not gonna. I don't need Stroud. I'll draft somebody else. I just have no real thoughts on that.
So my follow-up based upon that answer is obviously you're going to pick BTJ over Nico Collins every day of the week. Am I right on assuming that?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that I definitely am taking BTJ more, but I think that I want a little bit of Nico. Just because Stroud is struggling doesn't mean Stroud's not going to saturate and feed Nico. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean Stroud's going to get into the upper echelon of quarterbacks this year. But Stroud walked up to Caleb Williams with a straight face and tried to give him advice. And then he went out and shot at the bed all over the.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Yeah,
It's a tough business, this quarterbacking. But I'm the. And then Caleb practically outdid him. I just don't want
he's
to
like,
do
I don't need that. I don't need your advice.
And we laughed at Caleb, and that's the one rare W that Caleb has. Hold on one second, bro. I gotta read the super chat here. This is from my boy. Go watch this video if you missed it, the two-headed monster video. BBQ, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm sorry I didn't celebrate this yet. The draft and then the phone call.
Super chat alert.
BBQ coming in strong. BBQ, you doing the 40-day challenge with me? Fantasy court Nabers or Rice, not based on current ADP, but Nabers injury could be an issue, and the Giants are going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, bro, that's BBQ is 100%. We haven't even touched on that point yet. Hold on one second. Oh boy. No. Okay, not bad. You got Dylan Sampson for my queue. That's all right. My team so far, just so you guys know, I tried to do a little Nabers test, which honestly we haven't even talked about it, where he went in this draft. So let me scroll back up, and then I'll hit on what BBQ just said. So here's the team so far. Nabers went at 11. So clearly this is affecting him already. Nabers going at 11. We hadn't even looked at it yet, but that's why I did this draft to begin with, and I ended up getting a 4 pick. So we got distracted, but 11 overall. I'm glad I didn't have a pick in that range, though, because I wanted to see where he naturally was going to fall. Yeah, no problem, Scott. You can call back in if you have another question. But what BBQ was saying is spot on, which we haven't even got to yet, is that if let's say the Nabers is, this is going to be a big sticking point. I mean, this might be the one thing you want to hold on to that makes you stay away from Nabers is he's right. If they're trailing games, losing, it's a nothing burger season, and it's better to have that surgery now versus later, he's going to have it earlier. You know, there's no reason why Nabers is going to go through weeks 14 through 17 when he's struggling with the toe and they're losing and they have no shot at the playoffs. Do you think they're not going to say, let's just have the surgery now so that the off season is normal for him too, and just put him through surgery during the year? There's probably a greater chance that he has surgery. I don't want to say this yet. I want to say I might be close to saying this a couple days from now. There could end up being a point in the next couple of days that I start telling you there's a greater chance he has surgery before the season ends than after. And then that's when he'd be a total fade in redraft. But yeah, it's hard to say. But like, think about what if this team has 3 wins through 10 weeks? What if they've got 3 wins in 10 weeks and you're the decision maker here? Are you going to sit there and go, well, might as well just keep playing him and run him into the ground? Oh, God, hold on. I'm going to time out. I'm going to time out, so I did just grab somebody. You might as well. If you got 3 wins, why are you going to play him in week 15, week 14, week 13? You have 0 incentive. You're only hurting his toe more, making it harder to recover when he does have surgery. I don't know, man. I might even be, by the end of this episode, out on Nabers entirely for redraft. I don't know. It's getting more concerning the more you even just digest it, you know. And BBQ's 100% right. Shutting down, the odds of him getting shut down at some point early are extremely high. This will be a good court case. Maybe we do this tonight, BBQ, and this is going to be probably the closing argument. BBQ, when's the last time you dialed into the phone line? Maybe BBQ, you can be an expert witness via super chat if you don't call in or can't call in, but be an expert witness via super chat during tonight's court. Tonight will be Rice versus Nabers, or something along those lines. Very good topic, though. People are going to be pissed off on this topic. I need another QB, though. Let's see. I guess I'll go Aaron Rodgers, which I don't want to. Here's my team so far, guys. My team is in the 4 spot. Bijan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Travis Hunter, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Mason, Evan Ingram. I wish I had more stacking going on, but sometimes you just don't, you know. Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Warren, Jaden Blue, Dylan Sampson, Dante Thornton. I had to take him early because I was timing out. Aaron Rodgers. I'll probably take Royals to cuff to Mahomes. I'll probably take... I could take Brashard Smith just to have a chief. It's going to be some weird team correlations there, but...
Your first 2 receivers, don't mean to interrupt, but your first 2 receivers kind of have me a little worried.
Why?
And, I mean, with
Garrett
Justin Fields...
Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, no, dude, Garrett Wilson's a stud. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing his talent. He is.
But you're dismissing. You're dismissing something. You don't like Garrett Wilson as a wide receiver 1?
What I am hesitant on is Justin Fields, his offensive coordinator, and the head coach, and how they are going to attack. Because Breece Hall, we all know Breece Hall is going to be a monster this year.
But you don't think Garrett Wilson is going to be a monster with Justin Fields? You're done. You're done. You're like, get off the field.
Up on me.
Finish him.
You know
Call
that they're going to...
You're done. Ben Johnson did it today. He told Caleb to get off the field. He said, you're done. You're done. You fumbled the bag. You're done. Scott, appreciate your super chat. Indy Joe, try again tonight. We'll start over. Is Scatman in the same range as Trey Harrison? Yeah, definitely. I would take Trey Harris above Scatman, but Scatman could definitely climb, bro. He could definitely climb. Mike, appreciate you. Mike says, Worthy versus Pickens. Who would you rather have? Probably Worthy right now, but it's pretty close. Those are 2 very close players. 2 very close players. Thanks again, BBQ, for the super chat. Keepers, pick 2, Bijan at round 1, Chase Brown, round 8, Penix Jr. round 15. If it was Superflex, Penix Jr. would be in this combo. But I would say take Chase and Bijan Chase Brown and Bijan. Bijan's worth that first round keeper, bro. It is what it is, you know. On the clock here, I need some wide receivers pretty crazy fashion. Let's go Yoshi Voss with Joe Burrow. Indy Joe, your comments concerning me. You were concerned about my wide receivers. I'm Garrett Wilson and McLaurin. Those are 2 really good receivers, Indy Joe. My receivers in this draft are by week 9, 12, 8, 8, 10. My tight ends are by week 12 and 11. I think I'm okay just keeping the 2 tight ends and going double wide receiver here, just to make sure I have enough firepower. Because honestly, the depth of wide receiver is the concern, not anything else. So I gotta grab two more wideouts, and I'll go without a 3rd tight end. Rock out, you're live. Actually, rock out, hang tight real quickly. Missed the challenge. What are we doing? So on Instagram, I don't know if you follow my Instagram, BBQ. You got to get over to my stories. The stories on Instagram, when you click on my face and you go through the story posts, the stories are like your story throughout your day. So it's pretty awesome, I think, to view somebody's stories because you get to see their story, like what I'm doing throughout the day, what I'm up to. Sometimes I answer questions but anyway, so what I'm doing on there is I decided to do I think it's 44 days till the season. 43, 44. Somebody count it for me. I think it's 43 or 44 days. And it's a workout challenge. Or losing weight or eating better or quitting Coke or whatever. I'm doing all those things. So I'm 217 right now. I'm going down to 200 pounds. by kickoff opening night. We'll go Jalen Royals here. And then the next receiver I'll go with might be A.O. Minor, or I kind of like the Keenan Allen go. I think Keenan Allen went. I really like Keenan Allen in like the 14th, 15th, 16th round territory. I like Tesla a little bit. Oh, I almost queued Josh Reynolds instead of Jalen Royals when I drafted him. So, yeah, anyways, training for the half marathon right now, can always do more. Okay, so you're kind of already in the mix. But whatever you aren't doing, maybe it's adding like working out or adding X number of steps or intermittent fasting. I'm intermittent fasting. I'm running at least a mile or two a day. I'm doing, and then I got to work out too. I haven't been lifting. And so I'm using the core board. I messaged the core board people, or I added them on Instagram. So on my stories, you can see me yelling. I'm like, hey, core board social team, come take my core board from me if I don't get down to 200 pounds and give it to someone more deserving. So 40 or so day challenge. Let me ask Kruger how many days until opening day kickoff. He should know. Kruger, how many days until opening Thursday night football week 1?
We got 42 days until opening night.
All right.
We're going to be here before we know it.
Thanks, Krug. He's always got some little extra commentary. So thank you. And then 2 more super chats, then back over to the phone line. Worthy versus Pickens. Already answered that one. It's a good question. My league does draft pick trading. I found a way to get the 1, 4, and 6 overall. That's crazy. That's definitely how you're. I'm going to have another draft pick trading video to see how many first rounders you can get, like possible. Like, can you get 4 of them? Or is it 3 and then a 4th rounder? Like, what's the highest you can get? And then also how many 3rd rounders, which I think is the sweet spot of drafting in that 3rd round this year, because you can get Kyron, you can get Breece Hall, you can get, Hampton, you can get JD5. It's just such a great round. And so can you get 5, maybe 6 picks in round 3? So I'll have draft pick trading videos for all of that. So you look forward to that. But would you prefer Chase, Lamb, JJ, Bijan, Gibbs, Lamb? I'd probably say Gibbs, Bijan, and then Lamb or JJ, whichever one you get. That would be my ideal scenario. But getting both those RBs. If you only got one and you ended up with JJ and Jamar Chase and one of those RBs, I'm sure you'll be okay. But I definitely love the 2 RBs because it's the 2-headed monster. Rock out, you're live. Then I'm back over to Indy Joe. Rock out. Go ahead, you're live.
You know what time it is?
9:31 p.m. Eastern.
No, it's Debo season.
Debo season. It is Debo season.
Mashed potatoes!
He looks good, man. Haters gonna hate. Oh, God, I'm on the clock.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. I guess I'm getting Tesla. All right, Adam queued. That's all right. Team's looking good. I got Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. Bijan, Bucky, Jordan Mason, Charbonnet, Jaden Blue, Dylan Sampson. I got Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Travis Hunter, Yoshi Voss Thornton, Jalen Royals, Tesla, Evan Ingram, Tyler Warren. Not bad. Have I drafted better? Yes. But it's still a good team. Still has a shot if a couple things happen. All right, go ahead.
How did you get Terry in the 4th?
In the 4th, ask Indy Joe. He hates my wide receivers. he couldn't stand Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin. Right, Indy Joe?
Hey, my only thing is, so I looked it up, but when was the last time a receiver and a running back on the same team each finished in the top 10 in fantasy football? I just don't think that Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall will finish in the top 10, at the same time. I think Breece Hall will finish in the top, will be, could be top 10 easily, but I don't think, because Justin Fields, he's got that run game too. They're gonna utilize that.
Justin Fields turned DJ Moore into a top 5 wide receiver, bro. And on top of
what
that,
happened to David Montgomery? David Montgomery didn't finish, and even close to the top 15.
Well, he also doesn't catch balls like Breece Hall. Breece Hall could catch 70 footballs this year. Like they're totally, you just can't compare. You can't translate everything from one situation. You got to have an open mind of what's different. You know, Breece Hall could catch 70 footballs this year, maybe more. I would say Breece Hall's got a real strong bet to be the league's best receiving back. You know,
I agree with that.
So I mean, like, I don't know what you
want. I just don't think that Wilson will finish in the top 10 this year.
I know you don't. You've made that abundantly
They're going to utilize. They're going to run the.
Bro, who's going to absorb? Do you think Justin Fields is not throwing for? What do you think he's going to throw for? Like 1,900 yards? What do you think he's going to throw for? You don't think Garrett Wilson can consume?
I think he throws for 3,400 yards.
Who's catching those yards? Breece Hall and who else, bro? I mean, think about what you're saying. You tell me the 1,100, 1,200 yards aren't guaranteed to go Garrett Wilson's direction. You know, they played football in college together. The rapport trumps anybody else's rapport on the entire team.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
I mean, Garrett Wilson doesn't miss games. Garrett Wilson's mossing people in practice right now. And I know he did that with Aaron Rodgers, but hey, he was still a top 10 wide receiver last year. Regardless of how Aaron Rodgers kind of failed everyone, there was still Adams and Wilson finished at the end of the day. They were both in the top 10. This is a player that could easily grab 10 to 15 touchdowns from Fields, who's going to throw 25 plus. He's going to Fields throw for at a bare minimum 3,500 yards, whatever it ends up being, and all he's got to do is grab like a third of those. You know, or a little more. And that's it. That's all. That's right around a third. But that's all we're talking about. That's it. There's so many other places the ball's got to go for Fields to fill the yardage totals that we're talking about. I just think you're overthinking it. I think you're trying to look at something. A, you haven't seen Justin Fields fully enabled. B, you haven't seen Justin Fields fully enabled passing with the wide receiver he loves while he has an amazing running back. And also, if you look to that Chicago Bears season where Justin Fields turned DJ Moore into a top 5 wide receiver, he had such a crappy situation, organization, coaching, everything from top to bottom. GM, it was trash. So he has the best supporting cast. He hasn't had a good defense like this in a long time. Offensive line, everything's going to be perfect this year. The Jets' offensive line is going to be unbelievable. Fields is going to travel all over the field with a player glued to him. So that means that Garrett Wilson's not going to get double teamed very often at all. That means Breece Hall's going to have wide open receiving lanes. Doubt Fields and this Jet team at your own demise.
I don't doubt him, but like what it sounds like. No. So let me explain. So so the Jets are going to make the playoffs based upon.
I'm not. You're putting weird words together and thinking it's coming out a certain way. I didn't even say that.
Do you think that the Jets,
making the playoffs is going to be tough? I think they can make the playoffs, but I think that you got to look at the conference and say, okay. I believe that the Bills win the division. Let's just make a few things. And whether you think the Broncos or Chiefs are going to win the division or the Bengals or the Ravens are going to win the division, let's lock in what I have at the top here just for simplicity's sake. So if the Bills win the division, the Chiefs win the division, the Bengals win the division, and I think the Jaguars. The rest of this division doesn't matter, in my opinion. And that's even taking off. That's even in your favor. That's of saying that, That's in the favor of saying.
Yeah, I agree with all those division winners.
So,
picks.
I think the Ravens and the Broncos are almost guaranteed wild card spot holders, and that leaves one spot remaining. So it's not going to be an easy feat to get in the playoffs. You got the Raiders, who are going to be tougher than people think. I think the Steelers don't make the playoffs. I think the Chargers are probably the best bets. You have three teams from one division going to the playoffs. 3 teams from one division. So the Jets have it's a tall order. Miami, look, they're not going to win a Super Bowl, that's for sure, and they're probably not going to win a playoff game. But could they regular season world stars? It's possible.
Yeah,
But
Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat, so I feel like he's going to be making sure like he's going to get the ball to his primetime players and make it a point too.
The Titans are going to be sneaky. I think they fall short, and they're kind of what a great year they put together and almost did it. But the Raiders, Chargers, and Jets will be vying for that final spot. So back to what you said, I don't necessarily think the Jets are a lock to make the playoffs, but this is a good team, bro. This is a really good team.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall both finishing in the top 10.
You said that.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, we've heard you. we've heard you. All right. Anything else, Indy Joe?
No, that's it, man.
All right. Hey, Indy Joe, do you think that Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall both?
One more thing.
Okay, last thing.
So
I think you're
Nico
done.
Collins, back on that topic, where do you see him finishing in the wide receiving?
I don't know. 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy. You know, that's part of it.
Right.
6, 7, 8. I think that's respectable too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think he can flirt with a top 4 or 5 like at any point. You know, he'll have like a stretch where he's a top 4 receiver for like 5 straight weeks, or you know. But I don't know. There's a lot of variables that would make me say, okay, injury, Stroud, offensive line, field position, living in the red zone less than we would want, like all those things. Could he have a 5 touchdown season? You know, things like that. All right, got to go, Indy Joe. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. BBQ says, $5 hauler. If Smitty makes his goal, I will donate $500 to the show. Let's do this together. I'm getting in shape this upcoming season. 500. I've never been so motivated to lose 17 pounds in my life. I'm gonna get $500 if I get the two bills. I mean, what more can you say? What more can you say?
Let him cook.
Wow. All right. BBQ, I accept your challenge of my challenge. So 200 pounds I will be on opening day. And honestly, after just one day of drinking no soda, running, working out, and fasting, I think I'm going to be down a pound or 2 just today off like water weight and just, you know, that all the soda. Like I literally have like 1.5 pounds of soda in me at all times. And it should help kickstart my metabolism. I'm going to start running more. So I have a feeling I can get to this. And you know, it's such a good thing about BBQ. He's such a good guy. He wants me to hit this goal. It's not like he's making this and hoping I miss it. So everybody else, 42 days until week 1, Thursday night football kickoff. We need to hit all of our goals. Put your receipt in the chat. What do you want to accomplish? If it's cleaning your garage, that's fine. It doesn't have to be healthy, but whatever it is, cleaning your garage, you know, whatever, eating better, quitting soda, getting consistently on a workout program and being 2 weeks into it, whatever your goal is. You can even start it a week from now, whatever it is, but do it with us. Opening day, make your goal known. Put your 42 days, put your goal in the chat. Salty, appreciate you. Smitty, just making sure there wasn't a glitch when I sponsored 10 memberships earlier in the show. Love the show. Keep it going. Let me look for that. I'm so sorry if for any reason it didn't show that on the screen. Sometimes I have to kickstart the alerts and notifications. So let me gifted memberships. Salty gifted 10 memberships earlier. Salty, I'm so sorry I didn't see that until now.
Let him cook.
You know when they say, like on TikTok, when the guy's interviewing, on the streets, he's like, "You give us a spin." that's my pre-17 LB drop spin. Give you guys a spin. 10 gifted memberships from Salty. Salty, thank you so much. I'm sorry about that, bro. Sometimes the alerts aren't going, and then I fix it, and it already gone by. So I appreciate you. BBQ, thank you for your commitment to the channel and your $500 challenge to me to keep on track. Let's go over to the 585 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? And they were shy. They were on hold the whole time, and then I don't know, maybe they couldn't hear. Rock out. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I know you don't really like Derrick Henry, but what's the possibility he actually stays healthy and still produce?
Week 1, week 17. This is top 5. Top 5. This is bust down here. So this is week 1. This is bust. Week 1. Week 17.
Yep.
I think this is how Derrick Henry's season probably goes. I don't see any reason why, with the momentum he's coming off, he doesn't start off in that top 5 territory.
Yep.
This is mid-season, so we'll just call this week 8. I think that Derrick Henry will start to show he's human after about a month of football. What he did last year, he started to show it, and then he just bounced back again. It was unbelievable. I think there's going to be a little bit of like a bumpy patch in the middle of the year. I think it could be one of those things where he finishes strong, though. Just because the touchdowns and I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think that it'll be, even if it's a slow decline, it will be a decline. The line will look like that. I don't think the line is going to look straight across or, be bumpy and then excel. I think if it dips, it could go back up. But I still think it's going to look something like this. I just can't envision. I don't think he's going to bust. He's never been, hurt any sort of major injury. Although being 30 years old and everything, it's certainly possible he could finally get, hit with that injury. But I think if he does stay healthy, it's going to end up being a line that goes down. I just don't know how much. If I had to say at the end of the year, running back 9 or 10 wouldn't surprise me, and that would still be a pretty decent return because he's not going in the top 10 overall or anything. So I don't know, maybe Henry needs to be drafted more because my expectation is that he probably earns his ADP. I think what I do is swing a little bit more for upside though, and that's why I take Bucky, because I think Bucky can play like top 5 all year. The players I draft, I'm just trying to draft a guy that stays above that line, above that top 5 line. Whereas I think Henry starts there, but he does trail it and go down below it. So it's not that he can't earn it, but I just want Bucky. I just want Achane. I even think Kyron could be above that line. That's the only thing. It's not that I hate him at all. I think Henry's a good safe bet for touchdowns at least. Even if he gets like 10, even if he gets like 11 or 10, let's say he gets 1050 rushing, he still could have 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, he could get 12.
You get 950 yards and 12 touchdowns. It's certainly possible. That's kind of what, I figure his last year will be. His last year will be a bust in yardage, and then somehow he salvages it with touchdowns and no one gets burned and everybody can get out at the appropriate time. Henry might give everybody a telegraph. Hey, get out now. I'm 995 yards on the year, but I scored 14 touchdowns, so you're welcome. But that was like the final, hurrah, and he telegraphed it.
I also got the RPO with Jackson working for him too.
Yeah. All right, rock out. See you tonight, bro.
But yeah, I'm gonna take up your challenge you got going on.
Yep. Pick something, put it in the chat, make it a receipt, and then hit the goal. 42 days.
All right.
Later, bro. All right, guys. I am out of here. Time is the late show. Probably midnight, maybe 12:30. I've been not hitting that 12 midnight number very much. But we'll try and get back to that during the year. But I'll see you guys all around midnight to 12:30 a.m. Eastern tonight for the Graveyard Show. Thank you, BBQ, for dropping the gifted memberships. Who else dropped them besides Salty? Gifted, Salty dropped 10. And then my super chatters, we had Jazzy, BBQ. Thank you for the 20. X2, appreciate you. BBQ, another one. B Fred, appreciate you. Scott, thank you. Mike, Salty, BBQ. You guys absolutely rock. Don't forget to get on over to my Patreon. That link is in the description of every video. So if you later on are like, how do I get into the Patreon? I forgot. It's in the description of every video. Here's the link as well. $10 a month, cancel anytime. It's a 24/7, 365 chat group. It's absolutely phenomenal. Even if you just want to hang out and have like just a group chat. You know, everybody says, in my group chat, and you're like, I don't have a group chat. Now you do. Now you do. You want to talk movies? You want to talk about whatever. In our Patreon, you can talk about what you want when you want. Have a trade question in the middle of the night. Want to watch games with somebody? You feel bored on Sundays because you're the only one in the household talking football? We are talking 365, 24/7 on there, especially on game days. We do the waiver wire prep show kind of in the chat. Like, hey, who do you guys think should be on the waiver wire show? I bounce ideas off you. I'd let you know when a Moon Man might be dropping early. Go check out the Patreon. Don't forget, I'm also live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's what the show is right here. I'm additionally live almost every single night at midnight Eastern, and I'm also additionally live almost every time major news breaks. Even if it's right after, an hour after, we're here to break it down is the main point. Digesting the news when it breaks. I'll see you all tonight. Appreciate all my super chatters. You guys absolutely rock. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Blackbeard. Thank you, Space Ricky. Thank you, DeBalt. Thank you, Sick Nasty. I'm getting worried about Nabers. I'm really not sure if it's going to be a couple days before I'm not drafting him. Deuce.